more ball, fewer infractions. This begins in 2020. The future is near. More access, more everyone, more everything.
March 28th, 2019, show number 15.
This is history begun. This is the XFL.
What is up, my friends, and welcome to another edition of the XFL Week in Review. I am your host, The Mark, and on this week's show, June Jones talks Johnny Manziel. XFL is looking to buy some of the AAF's old football equipment, and our new special exciting announcement we'll get to in a second, and so much more. How do you get in touch with the show? You email podcast@xflnewshub.com with your MP3 or your thoughts, or hit us up on the Twitter with the hashtag XFLWIR. Cutoff time is 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. Also, remember to leave us a review on iTunes. It's critical. That's how we get the show word out. And if you do leave us a review, we will read it on the next show. All you have to do is go over there, go to iTunes, click 5 stars, say, I like the show. We'll give you a little shout out. Question of the week. What QBs should the XFL have in their draft? We have your responses to that. Plus, our question for next week is construct your XFL team. Give me the best head coach, the best defensive coordinator, and the best offensive coordinator in the XFL as it stands right now. That's what we're looking for. For next week's question, give me the best head coach, the best defensive coordinator, and the best offensive coordinator in the XFL. You construct your own team. Who would you pick who is currently in an XFL coaching staff? Now, before we get into everything going on in the week that was the XFL, I wonder if you noticed, being on the XFLnewshub.com site, you might notice something different. Well, if you have, that is correct. We finally unveiled our new logo. It's really cool. Head over to XFL News Hub if you haven't. But also, we unveiled something new. So not only do we have a new logo, but I want to talk to you for a second about the new XFL News Hub app for your Android phones or tablets from XFL News Hub. So we're excited to announce the launch of our XFL app. This free app is for Android phones and tablets only. And we're working on, relax, iPhone fans, we're working on an iPhone version. But you get all the breaking XFL news and information from XFL News Hub right on your phone. All you have to do is visit the Google Play Store for details. We have a link to it on our website, or you just type in XFL. We're the first app to come up. You can search for XFL News Hub or XFL on the Google Play Store and download the app. So you could do that today. What do you get? You get the latest news from XFL News Hub. You get push notifications, so anytime we post a new story, you'll get notified. You can leave a comment on your phone just from right there, so you don't have to go to the website and log in, but you can actually just leave it on your phone. You get our podcast, of course, on your phone, so you can listen to it anywhere. And you could leave us a review on Google Play Store, give us 5 stars if you'd like to that. And also, it's got links to our social media accounts and so much more. So head over to the Google Play Store and download, yes, the official XFL News Hub app. We're really excited about the launch of that. More things we got then coming up soon, maybe by the time this comes out, or maybe potentially next week, but stay to XFL News Hub for details. But we'll have our iPhone app also launched. So we got a new logo, which looks hot. We got a new Android app, which did really well very quickly. Lots of downloads there. We're excited about that. And there's even more stuff coming from the XFL News Hub world. But for right now, we got the new logo. Check it out. And the new phone app. Download it today. That's just for Android users only. And give us a feedback. Let me know. Podcast@xflnewshub.com. But so far, the reaction to the news app has been excellent. I'm really excited about that. So, without further ado, folks, let's just get into the week that was the XFL. New XFL Houston head coach and GM June Jones was asked about Johnny Manziel during his press conference last week. Jones knows Manziel from his days with the CFL's Hamilton Tiger Cats, in which Johnny was on the roster but later was traded. Let's have a listen to what June Jones had to say about Manziel.
No question. I think the thing that, like I said when I was saying there, that I love finding players, and I was fortunate to be around Mouse and Jerry Glanville at young ages that I learned real quick that good players make good coaches. And so you got to go find them and you got to go get them. And obviously that starts with a quarterback, number one, but you got to have some speed and you got to have some skill around that guy.
There's people in this town that have mentioned many times, you've heard it already, it would be great to get a guy like Johnny Manziel here in Houston.
Yeah, no, I know. I had Johnny in Hamilton. I enjoyed the 5 or 6 weeks. He played very good for me, actually. But, you know, he wanted to get on the field, and I could see that it was going to take a little time for him to learn the system. So, you know, Johnny is an interesting guy. I mean, he is competitive. He's proven that he has won. He's just been through a lot in the last 3 or 4 years. You know, that's kind of a league decision there. But definitely, I assume that he'll be in the draft pool. I assume that.
So Johnny Manziel could possibly be in the XFL draft pool this coming year. Of course, as long as the league finds him to be okay, I'm sure they're going to do their due diligence. I haven't heard anything about Johnny Manziel being invited to any of the summer showcases, which you would think he would be. I assume that they're reaching out to him now to talk, because that will be big news. Now, Manziel signed a 2-year contract with the Hamilton Tiger Cats in 2018. He was on the team for about 6 weeks before being traded to the Montreal Alouettes. That's about as much time as June Jones had working with Manziel. He played in only 8 games in his first and only season in the CFL, and of course he later played in the AAF for the Memphis Express before that league folded. So, Johnny Manziel, June Jones combination from the CFL returned to the XFL. Could be sparks be flying. And lots of touchdown passes in Houston. The San Antonio Express News is reporting that the XFL is interested in acquiring the now defunct Alliance of American Football, AAF's football equipment, and other assets. Relax, Birmingham fan, San Antonio fan. This doesn't have anything to do with the names or the logos. It has to do with football equipment. The league folded before completing its first season, as we know, and is now in Chapter 7, bankruptcy liquidation. According to the report, quote, a San Antonio bankruptcy trustee last week filed court papers asking a judge to approve the sale of some of AAF's assets to the XFL parent company, Alpha Entertainment, for $375,000. Alpha has already paid a $37,500 deposit. As part of this $375,000 price tag, the items stored in a warehouse on San Antonio's north side include Rydell, Schutt, and Viscous helmets, metal locks, tackling dummies, shoulder pads, and tons of rolls of athletic tape. The number of items is said to be in the thousands. So getting it on the cheap would be an excellent win for the XFL and its finances. No sale is done. The sale is not done yet, as the bankruptcy trustee is waiting for potential other offers, but it could be a good shot that the XFL just got their gear for cheap thanks to the AAF folding. According to a report from 247 Sports, Matt McMillan, the former director of football operations for the Oklahoma Sooners, will be joining Bob Stoops in the new XFL. For 18 years, he was Bob Stoops' right-hand man at Oklahoma University. Matt McMillan was Stoops' first hire in Norman, Oklahoma, back in 1999. He will focus on the day-to-day operations of the XFL Dallas as GM. Of course, player personnel decisions will still go through Stoops. One thing about Matt McMillan that you might not know is that he starred in a Toby Keith video. That's right, Toby Keith is known as a big Oklahoma Sooners fan. He had Matt McMillan star in one of his music videos for the song What Happens in Mexico. You can check it out. It's on YouTube and it's also on our XFL News Hub site. He's known for being a jokester, so would make people laugh in Oklahoma. You can tell from the video he has a good sense of humor. Josh Hinich is the new director of player personnel for XFL Tampa Bay. Josh Hinich is a former Orlando Apollos personnel director for the bankrupt AAF. He was a scouting assistant for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 4 years before his time with the Alliance of American Football. He joins head coach Mark Trestman, offensive coordinator Jamie Alonzo, and defensive coordinator Jerry Glanville in the XFL in Tampa. The XFL Tampa Bay has yet to name a team president, however, but Hinch, along with Daryl Moose Johnson of XFL Dallas and Chris Thompson and Alan Tripp McCracken of XFL New York, are now all former front office staff for the AAF, now moved on to the XFL. Jeff Jagdinsky is the new offensive line coach for XFL Dallas. He will join, of course, offensive coordinator Hal Mumme to lead the offense under XFL head coach Bob Stoops. He has over 20 years of coaching experience in the NCAAs and NFL, and of course his role will be as offensive line coach. He's best known as the head football coach at Boston College from 2007 to 2008. Jagdinsky led the team to a record of 20-8 and an appearance in the ACC championship game. Now in 2008, Boston College athletic director Gene DeFilipino warned him not to take an interview for the vacant New York Jets head coaching job. But he went on the interview anyway and got fired the next day. Of course, he did not get the job with the Jets. It went to Rex Ryan. Jagdinsky's last stop was 3 years as offensive coordinator for the Georgia State University Panthers. Bounced around a little bit. Probably should not have taken that meeting. I think there's reports that he said that was one of the biggest career mistakes he ever made. But now he's making his way working with Bob Stoops and Hal Mumme. And the XFL could be quite a big change and something great for his career. Football Scoop is reporting that Tony Softilli will join the XFL Seattle as its new director of player personnel. Tony was most recently with Alliance of American Football, AAF, as the league office director of scouting. Softley was the director of college scouting for the Carolina Panthers from 95 to 06, then was named VP of player personnel for the St. Louis Rams from 06 to 2011. After that, he had various media gigs until the AAF called him in 2018. He joins head coach Jim Zorn, team president Ryan Gustafson, defensive coordinator Clayton Lopez with the XFL Seattle franchise. Softley will work closely with Zorn and director of football operations Matt Hayes with player decisions. All right, we'll be back for your social media stuff and emails and so much more right after this. Stay tuned. There is only one place that you can get all your XFL news. That is xflnewshub.com. We go all the way back from the beginning of time for the XFL all the way up to today's stuff, where you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. All those locations to get all your XFL news. We are your number one source of XFL football news from now all the way until February 2020 kickoff. So stick with xflnewshub.com for all your latest information. Follow us on all the social medias. That's xflnewshub.com. Remember it. Write it down. xflnewshub.com. All right, we are back now on to the Twitters. First, we got My K Aussie says, wow, lots of XFL in here. Be very interested to see what happens in this new league. I was in Calgary, Canada in 2001 and watched the games. CFL starting this Sunday. Exclamation point. Love it. BC Lions here at Eskimos. I'll be there. We have talked about potentially being interested in maybe doing something with the CFL. I'm not sure. There's some things going on behind the scenes. We're trying to figure out potential next move, but I'm interested, and I'm definitely going to check out some CFL games this summer. Steve with a bunch of numbers said, just downloaded. This is an awesome app for all the XFL news you need. Great job. Loving our XFL news app. XFLDAL says, at XFL News Hub, I hope before it's all said and done that XFL will rebrand their look of their logo. Your version is an example. Looks right with today's graphic art. Needs to be reimagined and sent that over to Oliver Luck. He's talking about our new nice looking logo that maybe the XFL needs to switch their logo up a little bit. I think it looks fine the way it is. I want to see it. I don't think they'll change it anytime soon. They need to get, I think maybe down the road, maybe they might do something. But I'm fine with the logo. It's no big deal. It's no big thing. Let's go to YouTube. We get a lot of reaction on YouTube, and I always forget. I'm so not used to jumping back in the YouTube because a lot of you guys on the YouTubes will check out our podcast and listen to it on YouTube, which we really appreciate too. Gregory says, congratulations, XFL Houston. You got a really, really awesome coach, June Jones, ex-NFL wanted coach June Jones. Really excited about that. Kenneth says, for our question of the week, which he'll start to kick off that. His top QB picks as a Houston Cougar alumni, my number one vote goes to Case Keenum. That's only if he gets beat out by Dwayne Haskins for the starting job for the Redskins. That would be an interesting one. Other notable options, Johnny Manziel, Garrett Gilbert, Luis Perez, I've heard that name out, Logan Woodside, Zach Mettenberger, Kyle Allen, Colt McCoy, Brian Hoyer, Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think any of those guys are going anywhere. I don't know if some of these older guys would really want to play in the XFL if their years are done. But, I mean, they're going to get a nice chunk of change. Eric King and Sam Ehlinger from Texas, and, of course, Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. But I don't think any of those guys will come out of college to play in the XFL. But it would be interesting to see, no doubt about that. On to the Facebooks. We'll get into those real quick. About Daryl Moose Johnson, talking about how the XFL will be a success. He said that on Busted Open Radio. Brad says the ratings will most likely be better than the WWE. That's probably true. John says it had a good game day attendance last around, but lacked TV ratings. I think the ratings will improve this time around. I agree with you there. About the XFL looking to buy the AAF's old football equipment. David says a smart thing to do, but didn't the XFL deny trying to do this right after the league folded? I don't necessarily, from what I heard, it wasn't like they weren't going to touch anything, that they weren't interested in their assets. I think they were more in line of talking about the team names and that kind of thing. But to get football equipment on the cheap, I'm sure that's a couple $1 million worth of football equipment that they just got for pennies on the dollar. You'd be crazy not to go after that. And June Jones talks about Johnny Manziel, we talked about early in the show. Victor says, I respect him to keep trying. Kelly says, I hope he has straightened himself out. Jameel says, you keep him away from the XFL. How many chances is he going to get? Yeah, I don't know. John says, that kind of goes against your no criminal policy. We've heard Oliver Luck talk about that policy and kind of soften Vince McMahon's stance a little bit on that. On to the Instagrams about our question, what QBs should the XFL have in their draft? Johnny Manziel, Erica Chavez something says Zach Mettenberg. We've heard about him. Johnny Manziel and Luis Perez. Connor Shaw's out there. Unidad, he.knows.what, Manziel. Rad Rob 79 says Tyree Jackson. Interesting name out there. Haven't heard any of those, but some of those. One guy that I've been hearing about is Landry Jones. Landry Jones. Keep that name out there. We'll have a recap later on about some guys that we think that might have a chance at the XFL with the QBs that might be out there, because we're going to be watching as NFL has been cutting down some guys and some things are moving around, but not every team is going to carry 4 or 5 quarterbacks. So you have to look on those teams to kind of get an idea of where we might see some potential XFL stars come from. All right, on to the emails. Lots of emails. Now, I want to preface this on our contact page. We put, if you're interested in joining the XFL, click on this link and go to the FAQ. They answer all your questions. I put that on there. It slowed the messages down that we were getting, but didn't quite do it. We'll just go through them. Anyway, we got Lionel says, hello. Recently applied to try out for the XFL. I'm a recent graduate of SHSU. I played 1 season for the Revival's Professional Football League, and I'm currently waiting for my footage from them from this past season. I am a wide receiver / cornerback, and I'm wondering if there's anything else I think I need to do to get invited to try out in Houston. Thanks. Please let me know if there's anything else to complete. Thank you. Go to XFL.com. Reginald, more information. I'm trying to find out how athletes that have finished college and are not currently in college can receive an invite. XFL.com for that. So, Rennie, how do I sign up and try out? I'm playing semi-pro football in Louisiana. Michael, click on the link. Scott, Coach June Jones, talking about some kind of, asked him, June Jones, to be a speaker. Left all this thing out there. Sounds like a great event at Dave & Buster's. But June Jones is at XFL.com, not XFL News Hub. Jason says, my name is Jason Bleep. I would like to try out for the XFL Tampa Bay, June 29th. However, I've never played organized football. I just love the game. I'm 6'5", 340 pounds, and I'm 23 years old. I'd like to play defensive line. All I ask is for an opportunity. And idol of mine is Michael Orr. He went from homeless to a Super Bowl champion with your Ravens, I might add, all because he was given a chance. I will give 110%. I just want a chance. Thank you for your time. Hope to hear from you soon. Jason, if you want to really get involved with football, they're not going to bring you in for a tryout. Why don't you try to work out with other leagues or get involved with? You got to get out there some way. You just want a chance. Well, there's guys that are putting in the work in Arena Football League, Revivals Football League. I mean, all these others, the Spring League. So get out there. Gerard, same thing. I'm a former Jim Thorpe award-winning defensive back and currently record holder for most receptions in a season with 14. Steelers draft pick in 2015. Very interested in being a candidate to participate. Gerard Holloman, absolutely. This guy could totally get in the XFL. As long as he has an agent, should be able to get a tryout there. We'll see if he comes up. Maurice, where do I sign up for tryouts? XFL.com. We talked about that. Andrew, checking in, gave us his list of quarterbacks to take and this is where I think I first saw it. Quarterbacks to take an interest in with the XFL. He's got J.T. Barrett, New Orleans, Cardale Jones, Chargers, Paxton Lynch, Seattle, Jordan Ta'amu, Houston, Chad Kelly, Denver, Eric Dungy, Giants, Landry Jones, Oakland. Keep an eye on that one. Sam Bradford, Cardinals. That could be another one. But again, these guys have made money. I don't think they want anything that. Jake Browning, Minnesota. Brad Kaya, Detroit. Joe Callahan, Tampa. Kyle Schumer, Kansas City. Manny Wilkins, Green Bay. Connor Cook, also from Oakland. Tanner Maggun, BYU. Marcus McMarion, Fresno State. And Brackus is where they last play. Sign with. Love the show. Listen to everyone so far. Thank you, Andrew. This is where I saw Landry Jones could be an interesting pick for the XFL. I'm definitely out. I would be surprised to see. I mean, Sam Bradford would be great. He could potentially resurrect his career as a backup. But I don't think would he get cut? I mean, he's making a lot of money. We don't know. On to the next one. Let's see. Sammy, checking in, looking for a shot at being a broadcaster in the XFL. Again, check out XFL.com for details on that. Finally, Nicholas. Those messages I was getting Wednesday and Thursday, I got a ton of messages. And then I put the link up and it started to slow down a little bit. People were reading and saying, well, maybe this is where I need to go to get all that question. And finally, our number one emailer, Nicholas, checking in. Maybe Andrew is going to try to take his slot. Just throwing it out there. But Nicholas checking in. He says, here are some quarterbacks I would try to reach out to if I were the XFL. I will mention which roster cuts I am watching as well. Cardale Jones or Easton Stick, depending on which one gets cut. CJ Beathard or Nick Mullins. Jeff Driscoll or Jacoby Donanella. Kyle Allen or Eric Dungy. That name came up. Davis Webb or Luke Falk, depending on the cuts. Landry Jones, Connor Cook, Paxton Lynch, Brett Rippon, Nick Stimonik, Jordan Tamu, Kyle Loretta, Brad Mays, Justice Hansen, and Brent Stockstill. Landry Jones, Connor Cook, Paxton Lynch, Brett Rippon. All interesting names. Also, I'd like to mention about why, if I was coach, why I would target tight ends. He mentioned this earlier. I get why you're coming from, but the football is changing. Tight ends today are mainly just big slot receivers. Also, it has been the case why tight ends have worked in an open offense like Jermaine Grisham under Bob Stoops, Mark Andrews, Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley, Tyler Higbee, Gerald Everett, the Rams under Sean McVay, Jace Morano, Texas Tech, and so on and so forth. In an open offense, tight ends can be deadly because you never know if they are blocking or catching. It's a great point that tight ends could be a big factor in the new XFL. It'd be really interesting to see how it all transpires. All right, everybody. I appreciate. Thank you for being part of the show. You can email podcast@xflnewshub.com. All the details. Make sure you follow us on the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. XFL News Hub plus our Android app on Google Play. And remember to leave us a review on iTunes. We'll read it on the next show, and you can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google, YouTube, TuneIn, and Stitcher. I'm working on iHeartRadio next. Thanks for listening, guys. We've got some more news this week. We're really close, I think, in the next week or two about getting our team names. There's still some presidents, and there's definitely some team coaching positions that need to be filled. And then we're going to start, once we hit June, we got team names and logos and players getting signed potentially by the end of June into July. We'll see how that all transpires. We plan on trying to be at America's Teams DC Summer Showcase to be there on tap. So if you're thinking about coming and stopping by too, give me a shout out. Maybe we'll meet up at the event. Would love to get a chance to talk to fans out there and plus talk to some players. It's going to be a lot of fun, folks. Things are cranking up for us at XFL News Hub, and things are getting hot in the summer. It's the dog days of summer. It's the dog days of the XFL. I'm so excited that it's the summer, and I love the nice weather and shorts and reggae music and Hawaiian shirts. I'm all about that. But I'm also really excited about the fall and February 2020. All right, that's it for me, folks. Thanks for listening. Mahalo. God bless, and I will see you all later.